let me get started. And again, my name is Sangbum Kim from Seoul, Korea. And good morning to most of you guys, and good evening to some of you guys. And the topic of today's my presentations is about the potentials of blockchain applications in the construction industry. Before I get started, I'd like to thank the Professor Koo and the committee members for organizing this meaningful international seminars, and also for the speakers. And I'm very grateful to have this opportunity to present my research to this audience this morning. And these are the main topic that I'd like to address with my presentation today. And for those who do not have enough background in blockchain technology, I'll start my presentation with this general information about these technologies. So basically, I start with the definition of blockchain technologies, and then I move on to the application of blockchain technologies. And obviously, I won't be able to get into the more details of all the applications that I'm going to introduce. But the main objective of having this content is just to show you that increasing trends of utilizing this technology in various industries. Then finally, I go into my research, which is funded by Korean National Science Fund. I have been working on this project for the last couple of years, and I try to connect my research to the potentials of this blockchain technology in the construction industry. So what is blockchain technology? There are many different explanations or the definitions available out there. I looked at a lot of them, and I try to come up with a definition that is as simple as possible. So I think this blockchain as a database, which is made of connected data blocks. Obviously, it's a relatively new type of database, and each blocks containing the data, and they are shared by all the people that are participating in this blockchain network. So using this distributed ledger technologies that that allows this all the participants to inspect and verify all the blocks together. So that's this main key. Together is, I think, the main keyword. So, we usually call the first block as a genesis block, which is full of, this transaction data. So once this, first block gets full, and it is shared by all the people, all the node or the participants in the blockchain network. So they are, participating in validation and verifying this, approving this, blocks as reasonable transactions. So upon the right validation and approval, and the block is created and now is part of this network. So let me give you an examples of this, one person sending money to another. So maybe those transactions have various information such as sender's address and receiver's address, amount of money that has been sent, maybe the related fees, and so on. So those, the information can be, stored as a part of, transaction data, and multiple set of this transaction data can be stored in a block. And the unique thing about this, blockchain is that, each block has unique identifier, and which usually called as hash value. Technically, this hash value can be created, based on nonce values and the transaction data itself. So, so each block is connected to the previous block and the next blocks, and each block has these hash values. And this hash value is uniquely identified at each blocks. So what is unique about this hash value is that you can think this hash value as a picture of the block. So, for the second block, you can think that as the second block having a picture or the image of the first block plus data they are stored in block 2. So at the last block, we'll have all the images or the pictures of all the previous blocks plus data itself. And it is possible to build this blockchain network through this mining process. Maybe it's not a right definition, but it's easy to understand. So I just describe this mining process as a process of finding unique hash values, maybe the unique nonce value, which is which can determine these hash values, and also getting approval from this blockchain participants. So once data gets full in one block, and this is given to the participants, and which is locked, and this first unlocker you can think as finding the right password for the blocks, and once they find the right password, which is nonce, and that creates the hash values, and that opens the block, and now it's part of this blockchain network. And usually this first unlocker or the miners is given a reward and for that mining process. So let me get into some of the characteristics of blockchain. Maybe most of you guys are familiar with this characteristics, and maybe compared to the centralized database, it is distributed and decentralized systems. So if you look at this figure, maybe to be able to attack the network in the centralized database, you can only focus on the central database or the central agent. So I just named it as a 1% attack rules. But to be able to manipulate the data in this blockchain network, you have to actually attack the majority of the users. So you have to hack the majorities to actually compromise with data available in the network. That's one of the main characteristics of this blockchain technologies that makes it highly secure compared to the other databases available. Obviously this enhanced security leads to higher transparencies of data, and data is not monopolized by the central database or this one entity. So their privacy can be protected more efficiently, and theoretically, because there is no central agency or central database, you can minimize this cost, this operating cost, and also minimize the cost for the users. And it is distributed again, and so basically all the users are sharing the responsibilities, and they are part of validation process. And there are many different type of P2P based system, but you can think this blockchain network as P2P based system with higher security and better data transparencies. Okay, so far we talk about the general aspect of the blockchain technologies, and let me get into some of the applications of this blockchain technologies. Now, if you hear this blockchain technology, maybe most people think this Bitcoin, and it's the first type of cryptocurrencies, and it started with it is believed to be started with Satoshi Nakamoto, and he wrote a thesis and uploaded to the Cypherpunk's mailing list. And basically the thesis discusses the main characteristics of this blockchain technologies as I described previously, and include such as decentralizations and this distributed ledger technologies and consensus system as a proof of work. So the developers that are inspired with that thesis are gathered to actually build this Bitcoin network. Other than this Bitcoin, there has been many different applications are developed or being developed in many different industries. It's just there's little examples of all these applications that are available in many different industries. That includes obviously financial area sectors are leading that effort, and the education is one part, and maybe the intellectual property management, such as even YouTube is using these blockchain technologies, and healthcare, and even in the retail business, such as Walmart, has started using these technologies to make their business more efficient. So it's just to show that, again, this increasing trends of using this technology in many different industries. So it's not a official classification of technology advancement about this blockchain, but I think we are in the expansion period. This technology has been introduced, and we gone through some of the development periods. Now it's expanding to these many different areas. I think the construction industry is obviously one of the emerging areas that this technology can be used. So now, finally, let me go into the potentials of blockchain technology in the construction industry. And I try to relate my research to talk about the potential of this blockchain technologies. So in the construction technology, there are many researches has been done or has been has ongoing researches on many different topics. However, they are very limited, efforts compared to the other industry, I would say. And maybe the BIM is the most, the outstanding areas that many researchers try to utilize this blockchain technologies. And also smart contract is the one area that many researchers has been focused on. And I think we're going to have a presentation on smart contract today as well. And typically, our industry, the construction industry, has been identified as one of the suitable industry to apply the blockchain technologies. There are many reasons, but I just want to point out one thing, that as you can see on the right side of my slide, there are many different transactions has been occurred during the production process in the construction industry. So this using blockchain technology can make it more efficient, controlling those various different type of transactions. So in my research, one of the first things that I tried to do is to identify the areas for the potential areas to apply these technologies. So this one thing I used is the specific tasks, and I got that task based on this manual of construction work published by Seoul Metropolitan Government. Now, so I looked at the project management areas to look for more suitable, this areas of, use of these technologies, and also use the popular, blockchain applications that have, more value in the construction industry. And smart contract, as many people believe, has the most imminent impact on this construction industries, and security and data currency and digital currencies and record keeping are also identified as the potential applications in the construction industry. And one of the main things that I looked at with my research is about the data and information. Maybe it's due to the specific circumstances that we have here in Korea. And as far as cost, construction cost information is concerned in Korea, there are two outstanding the cost reference, which is developed by public agents. And all the data is collected and monitored by the government agencies. But it also have huge influences even on the private market. However, many people believe that they're very limited, the market cost information. Therefore, there has been, endless controversies over this reliability of this cost data. So I just want to give you an examples, and one local governor is, strongly insisting that this government unit price is, highly overpriced, and this obviously the construction firms have different opinions, and even the CERIC, which is one of the most popular outstanding the research institute here in Korea, saying that this unit price is somewhat underpriced. So what the central government was trying to do is that, focus on improvement of this cost information by focusing on individual items. So what they're trying to do is identify the problematic items every year and try to upgrade those information. But there are thousands of existing items. It's just almost impossible to improve them because they only have limited resources and people to actually solve their problems. So I thought that we need some kind of ultimate solutions to improve this reliability of this cost construction cost data here in Korea. So as you can see the slides, we do have this top-down price collection system, which is led by the government. So what I'm trying to do is develop a bottom-up price collection system, which is a distributed cost information system using this blockchain technologies. So in that system, we can integrate this existing cost information and to make it more reasonable. So this is how it works. And with our system that we developed, this individual firms can enter their cost information in details based on the categorized cost matrix that we have developed. And we also integrated the existing public cost information into the system. And the customers or even the the suppliers can have easier access to this public, easily access to all this cost informations, and based on the different criteria, such as physical part and different construction activities. So we hope that this can be work as a basis or the foundations to enable for the online construction trading market, which is one of the ultimate goal of the research that I'm working on right now. So one aspect of this research is to adapt this emerging technologies. I already touched most of these topics previously, and we developed this cost classification structure, and we used this Korean system, and we looked up the many different global references and try to address the supply demand of the market, and we try to employ some of the AI technologies and TensorFlow to increase the adequacy of data and to make our system more efficient. And finally, we utilize some blockchain technologies as this distributed database, and we're on the process of developing the smart contract and construction coin, using this existing platform to finalize my research. So hopefully, with the output of my research will contribute to the market revitalization in Korea, and hopefully to contribute to enhance the image of construction industry. So by having this research or this potentials of this technology can provide us with a new way of doing business. And the approach that I took with my research is developing the online construction market with abundant cost information, rather than limited cost. Okay, and with this more market sensitive data with high securities and data transparencies. And again, we're employing many different type of technologies, including this blockchain technologies. There has been some barriers in the research, and the research about this blockchain has been dominant in the financial sectors. So I think we need more investment and more interest in our industry as well. And maybe second part is can only apply to Korea, however in Korea is this public regulation and public policies have a great impact on all this activities inside of industry, Korean construction industry. So I thought that we need some kind of legal regulation and support in the area of blockchain as well. And finally, but the most importantly, we do have lack of expertise and infrastructure in the area of blockchain. So we do need to spend work on this educations, and in our school we're trying to develop the class for even for the undergrad students to just to introduce this emerging technologies such as blockchain to the student, so that we can build up more expertise in the future. So that concludes my presentations, and I'm not sure that I met the time limit. If you have any questions, you can feel free to email the address that is provided in the last slides. Again, thank you for your time. Thank you.